The risk of rarity is the price paid for carrying a weight that few are able to bear. To be rare is not merely to possess a deeper consciousness, it is to live exposed to the consequences of that depth. Rarity illuminates, but it also isolates. It opens pathways, yet it demands that they be traveled almost always alone. The rare become a point of reference, but before that, they must face the fact that almost no one understands their direction. In this new text, the first risk is misunderstanding. The collective, accustomed to the comfort of repetition, finds those who think differently unsettling. The rare do not speak the language of the majority, they speak the language of lucidity. And that language, though necessary, does not always find ears prepared to hear it. Misunderstanding can turn into resistance, and resistance into rejection. The rare learn early that seeing beyond comes at a cost. Another risk is the weight of responsibility. It has already been said that those who see more cannot pretend they have not seen. Acquired consciousness demands action, demands commitment, and demands courage. The rare carry the feeling that if they fail to act, something essential will remain hidden. They know that their presence alters the balance of the scale, and this obliges them to remain true to themselves, even when retreat would be easier. Once again, the risk of solitude emerges. The journey that leads to rarity distances the being from the crowd, and this separation creates an inner space that is not always comfortable. The rare live between two worlds, the one they left behind, and the one they are still building. This continuous transition produces a kind of voluntary exile, in which their most frequent companion is their own thought. But perhaps the greatest risk of rarity is losing oneself. Expanded consciousness can become pride, and pride can become absolute isolation. The rare must guard their own lucidity so that it does not become arrogance. They must remember that their role is not to elevate themselves above the collective, but to serve as a point of balance for it. Even so, despite all these risks, rarity is necessary. Without it, the scale cannot be adjusted, consciousness cannot advance, and the collective cannot evolve. The rare accept the risk, because they know that their existence is not a privilege, but a mission. They walk the frontier between the known and the possible, carrying the weight that keeps the world in motion. The risk of rarity, therefore, is not a sign of weakness, but of worth. It reveals that whatever transforms also challenges, and that only those who face these challenges can sustain the invisible balance that keeps humanity expanding.